Happy Monday and welcome back to another Build a Dream episode of Facebook Live. I'm your host, Nour Hachem Fawaz, president and founder of Build a Dream. And I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome the CEO, president of Linamar, Linda Hasenfratz. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. It's a real pleasure to be here.
It's such an honor to have this opportunity to do this interview and to have you on our show to talk about your role as CEO of Linamar, but also to provide advice to all of the young women that are tuning in today. So thank you so much. I want to start off by reading some of your bio. It's quite extensive, so I'm going to read some of it, but then I'm going to highlight some of your amazing accomplishments throughout the years. So Linda Hasenfratz is the Chief Executive Officer of Linamar Corporation, an advanced manufacturing company where the intersection of leading edge technology and deep manufacturing expertise is creating solutions that power vehicles, motion, work, and lives for the future. The company is made up of two operating segments, the industrial segment and the transportation segment, which are further divided into 5 operating groups: Skyjack, agriculture, machining and assembly, light metal casting, and forging, all world leaders in the design, development, and production of highly engineered products. Hasenfratz's enthusiasm for the arts prompted her to join the board of governors of the Royal Ontario Museum in 2002. And in 2012, Hasenfratz became the inaugural chair of the Philanthropy Leadership Cabinet of the Guelph General Hospital. Involvement in charitable organizations continues to be an important focus for her. Hasenfratz has also sat on the board of the Advisors for Catalyst Canada since 2003. And in February 2017, Hasenfratz was announced as the Canadian chair of the Canada-United States Council for Advancement of Women's Entrepreneurs and Business Leaders. Hasenfratz's desire to see women progress in business to the top level of industry prompted her to participate in these 2 key initiatives. You've received numerous awards throughout the years for your amazing leadership, your involvement in community, your involvement in philanthropy. As an aspiring female leader, reading your bio and just following your career has really inspired me to do more. And I just am so thankful that Build a Dream has had the opportunity to not only work with Linamar through the STEM It Be It initiative, but to also have you on our Facebook Live today to share some pieces of advice so that we can inspire more young women to consider career pathways in STEM. So welcome to the Facebook Live. So I want to get started because there isn't many female leaders in manufacturing. And when you look at the STEM It Be It initiative, which encourages more female role models to share their stories so that other young women can see themselves along those pathways. When you started in your career pathway, there was significantly less female leaders in these roles. What encouraged you to go down this path?
Yeah, I mean, I was inspired by great leaders regardless of gender. I mean, I think that great leaders kind of ignore gender, right? I mean, they're all about building organizations that are based on merit, that, reward people for great performance. And so obviously I was drawn to that type of leadership and spent, I think, a lot of time reading, their stories, listening to them talking about leadership as I developed my own leadership approach, and also as we developed a leadership profile for Linamar of the kind of leaders that we're looking for at Linamar. So I think it's important to spend that time and kind of learn from other leaders, male and female. And I think there's really important lessons to learn from both. So, regardless of, whether there was female role models to look at or just, role models who I felt like I had something to learn with, I think I was inspired by all of the above.
What were some of the leaders that inspired you? Can you name a few? And what were attributes that really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I had the benefit of working side by side with a fantastic leader and entrepreneur in my father who founded our company. So clearly, I learned a lot from him. I learned from other leaders within Linamar. I mean, our current president and chief operating officer, Jim Jarrell, is an amazing leader, and I learned a lot from him of, leadership styles that were very complementary to, but not necessarily the same as my dad's leadership capabilities. And, I think there was always something to learn as well outside the company. So I tried to attend sort of leadership conferences to hear from different leaders in different industries, whether it be manufacturing or maybe political or maybe even military, and just hear the different perspectives from those leaders as we look to develop a leadership profile at Linamar. So, some of the things that we thought were important to us were things like passion, having a passionate leader who, had a great vision of where they wanted to go and where they wanted to take the business or the organization that they were involved in, and could communicate that passion to people. So, great communication skills, leaders who cared about others. We thought that was an important part of being a great leader, because, and you see this a lot from a military perspective, if you feel like, somebody's got your back, that, your manager cares about you, your leader cares about what happens to you, then you're all in, you're aligned behind them, because you know that you're all in it together. So, passion, communication, care. And then from a business perspective, being able to do a good job of planning, execution, getting things across the finish line, edge and acumen in terms of being able to make insightful decisions, really understanding both your business and your industry, and being able to pull those together to make really good, insightful decisions, and being able to handle tough situations were all sort of areas of leadership that we thought were important, and that comprises the leadership profile that we put together at Linamar.
I appreciate you sharing that leadership profile and describing it in that way, because I haven't really heard many companies talk about their leadership profile and the amount of effort they put into putting it together so that it's not only fits the attributes of the leaders that you recruit, but it connects with the employees at Linamar. We recently, about a year ago, we did this campaign where we challenged how we define female leadership, where women are, when they're in leadership roles in comparison to males in leadership roles, the way that they are described based on their leadership attributes differ. So for example, being called aggressive, being called too passionate, or too bossy. What do you respond to those types of traits where the likelihood of women being compared with those traits? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that your performance is testament to your leadership, right? So what you achieve as a team together is a testament to, how good of a leader you are, and how good the leaders within your organization are. So I guess I would not focus so much on those kind of negative perceptions around leadership, and try and focus more on results and facts and performance. And I guess I never really tuned in very much to those potentially negative perceptions around what kind of a leader I might have been, because ultimately what kind of a leader I am is shown by what I've accomplished. And I feel like I've always just been way more focused on those accomplishments and performance and facts than these kind of opinions, which may or not be meaningful.
So and clearly your success speaks for itself in terms of focusing on the facts and focusing on the success, and just focusing on the success of your company. So if we look back in 2002, you took over Linamar. What sort of response did you get from different stakeholders before, during, and after the transition, especially with the mindset that you went, and it didn't matter if you were a female or a male, you were there to lead Linamar and to lead it to great success. So help support the feedback and the partnerships you were able to build since 2002?
Yeah, I mean, when I became CEO in 2002, it wasn't a big surprise to people because I had already, like, I was made chief operating officer in 1997, and then I became president in 1999, and so like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, where did she come from? Like I was already kind of a known commodity to our key stakeholders, whether it be our employees, our customers, or our shareholders. Probably more reaction back in 97 when I became chief operating officer, because, at the time I was running 2 facilities and starting up a third one. So like folks within Linamar, obviously knew me pretty well, but outside and customers, because, I'd obviously interacted with a range of customers in that role. But I wasn't very well known to shareholders and to, the whole community of analysts, being a public company. And so, I think that that whole group of people didn't really know me. So they were probably like, oh, who is this? And what is, how is she positioned to take on this role? So, I spent time getting to know them and spending time with them and hearing their thoughts and concerns, and giving the opportunity to talk about my own plans and strategies, which I think pretty quickly addressed any concerns that they may have had at the time. And, I guess that kind of describes what my general approach has always been, is like, go in, do your job, do it well. Don't kind of dwell on what other people may or may not be thinking. I've always said, if you look for negativity, you're probably going to find it. So why look for it? I mean, just go in, do your job, do a great job. And, everybody else forgets about preconceptions and whatever pretty quickly as well. Again, when you focus on performance and just doing what you're there to do.
And your journey with Linamar has seen you hold many different roles. So you were even at one point a machine operator. So can you talk to me about the history with Linamar way prior to your experience in leadership?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my first job at Linamar was machine operator. So, I started out learning the basics of our business, which my father and I both thought was really important, that I not start at the top or anywhere remotely close to the top, and that I get to know, the basics of our business and metal removal and what that's all about, and also what it's like to, work in July, which, by the way, it was July, on the shop floor. And, it's a tough job. And, we have a hell of a lot of really hardworking, amazing people at Linamar who are doing that job every day. And I have a lot of respect for that, because I started out doing the same thing, and I know what it's like to be working on a machine out on the shop floor on a hot July day. So I think that's really important, is to be able to kind of put yourself in the position of, people from different areas in the company. And, from there, I went on a bit of a journey around, working in basically every different area, whether it be materials or accounting or estimating, quality engineering, and really got to see the business from a lot of different perspectives, which again was very, just invaluable in terms of being able to see things from different viewpoints, and then be able to relate better, I think, to people in those areas. Like, because I didn't do every single job, but at least I was in every department and could kind of get a sense for the challenges and that they may face in those areas. So I found it really invaluable to prepare me to get into a leadership position.
And since your appointment to leadership roles, Linamar has seen significant growth, and it's on track to be a $10 billion company in the coming years. Beyond, encouraging employers and leaders to try to put themselves in the different roles within a company, what other advice do you have for aspiring leaders to make the same commitment that you've made to not only lead a company to a financial success, but in terms of the internal cultural growth and the values that Linamar places, not only in your community, but across the globe. What advice do you have for other leaders?
Well, I mean, I guess we've always at Linamar approached our business in a very balanced way. And by that, I mean, thinking about what does success look like for our shareholders, so financially, but also what does success look like for our employees and for our customers. So always trying to balance the three in everything that we're doing as a company. And that balance is a very core philosophy of ours at Linamar. And we actually symbolize it by a three-legged stool, which we call the stepping stool to success. And, each stakeholder represents one leg of the stool: employee, customer, and shareholder. And, we really try and encourage this idea of balancing the needs of each in your day-to-day decision-making, so that, you're not sacrificing the needs of your employees to the benefit of your shareholders, or for that matter, your customers, and the same thing the other way around. And I think it's a really powerful philosophy that it doesn't just dictate our, decision-making, but also basically our whole strategy of where we want to focus and what we want to do. It's how we articulate our strategy. It's how we measure our plant's performance every month in every plant around the world. So it's a great sort of commonizing idea that is simple and easy to understand, and really helps, as we've grown internationally, to kind of get people to focus on the right things. And it's interesting because just in the last year or two, there's been a bit of momentum building around this area. Like just this year, the Business Roundtable in the U.S. It's a big organization that with some of the largest CEOs in the U.S. are members, and they adopted this. They all kind of signed on to this letter saying that they wanted to run a more balanced business, that it was about more than just share price appreciation. And I thought, well, that's interesting. We've been doing this for 20 years or more. So nice to see other folks jumping on that bandwagon.
What's been your proudest moment as a CEO?
Well, I mean, for sure, I'm very proud of our team here at Linamar. I think we have an amazing team of people that we have built up, and I think that in itself is something to be really proud of, because it means that we've built a strong company with a great culture that is doing important things, and that's been appealing to a great team of people. So for sure, proud of our team and what we're accomplishing. Proud of our international expansion, our diversification into new industries. So, we started diversifying more than 20 years ago, when we went from sort of a more automotive focus into other industrial fields like access equipment with our Skyjack business. Which we acquired 20 years ago. So proud of that diversification into other businesses, giving us more opportunities to grow, and proud of the international expansion again to kind of broaden the footprint of the company.
I have to say, in about a year ago, you were in Windsor. That's our hometown. And I was waiting to speak to you. Many people were waiting to speak to you, just knowing your career path and all your accomplishments. It was at the APMA conference. Yeah. And I remember you taking this, I never got the chance to meet you in person, but I remember you taking the stage, and just your presence, the respect that you had in the room, the feedback from the people that I was sitting with, the business people from diverse companies, and just how they spoke of not only the impact you've had in the manufacturing industry globally, but just your presence as a leader. I have to say, it's probably one of the few times I've seen a leader take the stage and have that presence. And then in reading your bio and then about to do this interview with you today, I was extremely nervous, still extremely nervous. And it's so important for me. I know you mentioned, let's take gender away and not focus on that and focus on what success, what goals we have and how we want to reach those goals. But as a female leader, to watch someone like you achieve so much, you also have children, you give back, you accomplish so many great things, and you bring it back to values. I think that says a lot, especially when just this year, the businesses were looking at not just the bottom line, but looking at how customers, employees, and shareholders matter. And it's beyond the bottom line. And there's a lot for us females to learn from you. And I know that matters to you because you launched the STEM It Be It initiative, which profiles females in STEM. What inspired you to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. We launched See It Be It STEM It. I guess it was 3 years ago now. I can't believe it's been that long. And we were really excited to do it because the goal behind it, it initially stemmed out of an effort that I was involved in, which you mentioned at the outset, as the Canadian chair of the Council to support women entrepreneurs and business leaders, which was a joint Canada-US council of 10 CEOs that were trying to look at ways that we could encourage more women entrepreneurs and business leaders. And we had identified as one of 5 key areas of recommendation that we wanted to see more women in STEM, in science, technology, engineering, math, as well as trades. That having a background in STEM was a great way to become an entrepreneur, because you would have an ability to develop new products and services that you could then use to start a business. So that was a key area that we focused on. So, out of that initiative, we started doing some research around what was happening in terms of women in STEM. And the great news was that we're seeing more and more women choosing STEM educations and careers. And what we really wanted to do was build on that momentum and help tell their stories in order to inspire other young women to do the same thing. And basically the idea is that role models play a really important role, particularly to young women or girls when they're making decisions about what they want to do. And knowing that there's women out there just like you yourself, who likes the same kind of things that you do, or maybe looks like you, or acts like you, have chosen a STEM career and are loving it, is great motivation for you to do the same thing. So that's where the idea of see it, if you see it, you can be it, right? So, seeing these role models, being inspired by their stories was really the whole idea behind our initiative. So we built a website called See It Be It STEM It. So I encourage you to check it out. And we are now featuring almost 200 role models on our website, which is really exciting that we've built it up that way with great, just quick, stories about why they love STEM, why they love what they're doing, and some advice that they may have for young women who are considering that career. And then the other thing we do is take 12 of those role models each year and feature them in a calendar. And the idea was trying to keep the story going all year long, so you've got that calendar hanging up maybe in a classroom, and every month there's a new inspiring story about a woman in a different area of STEM. So we've tried to pick sort of diverse areas, so you can see all the different careers that you can do in science. And if you choose to study math, if you choose to study engineering, here's all the really interesting things that all these different women are doing. So that was the idea, and I feel really proud of what our team has accomplished. And thank you for being part of helping to get our story out there and distribute our calendars and talk about what we're doing. So last year we printed 20,000 calendars. So, yeah, I'm excited to get those out into the hands of young women. We feel confident that it's going to do the job of helping to inspire more and more women into studying and working in STEM.
I love the initiative, and I've had the privilege and honor of interviewing some of the women that you featured. For example, Sabrina Gomez, who's an aerospace engineer.
Yes.
And what I love about the female role models in STEM is their willingness and their motivation to want to share their story on so many different platforms to build up more females and encouraging them to go into STEM, which is, I think, a phenomenal characteristic that women have when it comes to when you bring one woman into the STEM field, know that you're also going to build your brand to bring other females with her, because she's going to share her story and she's going to inspire others to come along. And Build a Dream was so proud to give away those calendars at all of our events in the fall last year. I believe we gave away a total of close to 5,000 of those calendars. And we still have more. So if you're in the Windsor-Essex region and you want a free STEM it, be it calendar, see it, STEM it, be it calendar, you can come to our Valiant office once some of the restrictions are pulled and we could do a safe curbside pickup. And then if there's any schools across the province of Ontario that would like packages of the calendar, we would love to work with you and deliver some of the calendars that we still have. I guarantee that they will be a huge hit with your students. And I know, Linda, you guys are still working on your next plans for the coming year to see how you were going to feature more role models in your next edition.
Yeah, absolutely. We are still producing a calendar this year, despite all the challenges around us. We figure we can be 6 feet away from the role models when we're taking pictures. And thank goodness the hair salons got open, so we can still make sure that they're looking awesome. So we're really excited to do another, and we've got an amazing lineup again of women that we are featuring in the calendar this year. So I'm really excited that we're continuing on with the project and looking forward to generating the third calendar this fall.
It's so exciting, and Build a Dream will support it in any way possible. And anyone that's tuning in right now, if you're a female in STEM and you want to be featured on the website, please send in your profile. If you know a woman in STEM, please nominate her. They're at 200. I know that they have the goal to reach significantly more. So help us in profiling as many female role models from across Canada. And it only speaks volumes to the amazing company Linamar is. And beyond, it's interesting because 3 years ago, you launched this initiative, but you also invested $5 million at Western University to encourage female engineers to take their MBA. Is that correct?
Actually, we created a scholarship program to encourage more women into the dual degree program of engineering and business. So there you get 2 degrees in 5 years, which I think is awesome. And we really love the combination of engineering and business. And, when you look at Western, they've got an amazing business school, one of the best business schools in Canada, one of the best engineering schools in Canada. So the only one that's got this kind of dual degree program where you can get the 2 degrees in 5 years. So we really love that. And so Linamar and my family personally together donated $5 million towards the program to sponsor 10 women per year in the dual degree program. We pay for half their tuition. And then we also, it's a 5-year program, which you basically start in your 3rd year. So we do that for the 3 years of the dual degree. And then we also give them a job opportunity in the summers of years 3 and 4 and a job offer on graduation. So I really love that because I've always been a big believer in the importance of work integrated learning and experiential learning as being an important part of, complementing what you're learning theoretically in the post-secondary program. So, I love the idea of helping these young women also get a job with us in the summer, so they can learn a little bit about Linamar, learn a little bit about manufacturing, and put their knowledge to work in an experiential way. So, I think that for some women, the money is important. For some, the job is important. But I think that we've been thrilled with the response to the program. We've have 2 cohorts so far that are running through the program, that some of whom have come and taken advantage of those internship co-op opportunities, and we're just starting interviewing for the 3rd round of cohorts right now, and they're amazing, incredible, smart young women, and we're just super excited that they're kind of part of the team. And I feel like it's a real win all around, because we're getting more women into that dual degree program, which I think, as I say, is a great combination for lifelong employment and opportunities. And, for Linamar, we're getting a steady stream of smart, talented young women coming into our organization, and hopefully we can attract them to stay with us as well. So, I feel like we get a real win out of it too. And that's always going to be the best kind of program, when everybody's winning, right?
100%. And it's so interesting, because as I lead Build a Dream and I speak to so many different females from the skilled trades, from STEM, I wish someone would have encouraged me to become an engineer. I mean, I love that field. And there's so many different paths you can take and so many different industries you can work in. And it makes me so happy to hear a company like Linamar not only investing in engineers, but combining engineering and entrepreneurship and business together. Like, that is incredible. And then leading by example to provide them an internship and a co-op opportunity, which I 100% agree. The more we speak with companies and educators, the missing link is giving students the opportunity to get that experience as early as even high school and then post-secondary, so that they could build their employability skills. So once they graduate, they have the foundation that companies need for their workforce. So it's just incredible that Linamar has made not only that financial investment, but the investment in providing those co-op opportunities. What advice do you have for companies that are struggling to diversify their workforce, that are struggling to recruit and attract more female candidates into their workforce? What could they do better?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think you need to put a diversity strategy together, set yourself some goals, get a high level, preferably highest level executive sponsorship of the program, because people need to hear that their leaders, care about diversity. And, for sure, that's something that we had in spades, not just myself, but the rest of my leadership team as well. Really embrace the idea that, we like the idea of a diverse team from a couple of perspectives. One, it just broadens the talent pool that you're looking at, right? Like, I mean, if you're not, biased towards male or female or certain demographics, then you're going to have the broadest talent pool possible to draw from. And isn't that what every one of us needs, is to have amazing talent? So why would you want to restrict yourself to only look at half the talent pool or less by, not embracing diversity, whether it be gender diversity or racial diversity or what have you? So, I think number one, it's about access to talent. And number two, I think you want a leadership team that is representative of the demographics of your business. So, if you have women, lots of women, or you have a lot of different representation from different countries and races and ethnicities, and you should have representation in management that reflects that, right? And so another great reason to embrace diversity, and just, of course, the diversity by definition means you've got different opinions and people thinking about things in different ways, and that's always going to be beneficial as well. So I think you need a leadership team that recognizes that and really embraces it, and is sponsoring the creation of a diversity initiative, that you set some goals for yourself, whatever that might be, and however that might make sense for you, and then you do things to create it, right? Like I can't remember what that saying is, but like if you do the same thing every day, like how are you ever going to change? You know what I mean? Like you're never going to change something if you're not doing something differently. So you've got to put that work in and figure out what are the things I need to do to attract more people, into more diversity into my workforce, that I make sure that I'm looking broadly in terms of promotion and looking for leaders within my company. So just a few ideas.
It's amazing because one of the things that we often highlight as an organization and encourage companies to do is change their approach, change their outlook when it comes to attraction, recruitment, and retention, and also advancement of one within their industry. And it reminds me of back in 2010 in Windsor, Essex. As you know, we have a huge manufacturing industry locally, and we had a huge underrepresentation of women in the industry. So when I went out to speak to companies and asking them, have you ever hired a female? How many females do you have on your shop floor? The answer was often they didn't have any females on their shop floor, and women just didn't apply. So the perception out there was that women were just not interested in these positions. So Women's Enterprise Skills Training of Windsor, in partnership with St. Clair College, we launched a Women in Skilled Trades initiative where we recruited women to go in to become general machinists. And we had an overwhelming response. We had about 150 female applicants apply to the program, and we were able to accept 30. So when it came to going to place the females, some employers started making excuses. Oh, well, I don't have a female facility. I don't have the infrastructure. And then we started having honest and direct conversations with them, that if you're really serious about wanting to diversify your workforce, you really want to tap into the other 50%, you want to open up the talent pool, you want to also bridge the skilled trade shortage, you must have a strategy to diversify. You must be more welcoming. And sure enough, I'm very proud of companies like Valiant, Centerline, Laval, that really took the step and said, we're going to be committing to diversity. And now there's not only one female on their shop floor, there's a handful of females on their shop floor. So It's interesting, once we change the way our outlook and the approach we take, the outcome will match what we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think goal setting is an important part of that as well, that, because if you set yourself a goal, that you want to have 20 female apprentices, or you want women to represent whatever percentage of your leadership team, or what have you, it does force you to create the initiatives to make it happen, right? And to make sure that, as you say, you are welcoming. You're not just welcoming, but you're thinking about things differently when it comes to job descriptions and promotion. So, addressing unconscious bias, that, for sure, you don't even realize you're doing it and it's happening, and so even like simple things like the job description that you create, right? Like we tend to create these incredibly detailed job descriptions of like, this candidate must have this. Nobody ever expects anybody to actually have all those, have done all those things. I mean, it's pretty rare. But we do tend to create these job descriptions where we throw everything, in the kitchen sink at it. I want all of this. And what we don't realize is that, a lot of like women will look at this list of 10 requirements and say, oh, you know what, I only have 6 or 7 of those. I'm not going to bother putting my application in because I don't meet all the requirements. Whereas a guy will look at it and say, you know what, I can do 1 or 2 of those things. I'll throw my resume in. And, you know, so number one, women need to get better at just what the hell, throw your resume in. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, just do it. But also we need to get better at you know, changing the description of that job description so that, you know, you're not asking for so much, that you're not being so specific, and also that you're not using language that might unconsciously be that women would look at and think, oh, that doesn't feel like a fit to me. So, you know, all of that is kind of part of that unconscious bias training to help you create job descriptions that are going to be equally attractive to a variety of people.
It's really interesting that you did highlight that in terms of how women look at job descriptions and what they're likely to apply for or not. And that reminds me also, even just in terms of the confidence level in high school, and young women, we know that their confidence plummets as early as grade 9. And their likelihood of choosing a career pathway that they don't have any background experience or have never really tinkered in that path, they're less likely to feel motivated or encouraged to pursue that path. So one of the things that we've done at Build a Dream is that we've launched a confidence workshop coupled with a skills building workshop. So they build their confidence, and then we get them to do things with their hands. And we've done that with both boys and girls, just to test it out, to see what is their feedback. And an overwhelming response of the young people said, had I not been encouraged and motivated and shown and told that I could do this, and if it's okay to make mistakes, I wouldn't have even considered it. And it's interesting how confidence plays a role at such an early age in the path that we end up deciding for a future.
Yeah.
And I know we talked a few weeks ago, and you said, you know, one of the things I wish we stopped doing is telling young people to follow their passion, because some people just don't know what they're passionate about. So what advice do you have for a young woman that's struggling with her confidence and trying to figure out what she's going to do after high school? How could we help lead her into a job that's not only meaningful, but that's in demand and that's profitable? Because I think financially, it's really important that women choose high-paying careers.
Absolutely. I think that what you just said is just so true, and is exactly the advice that I like to give to young people when they're thinking about what to study and you know, what kind of career that they might want to get into. So first of all, it's interesting what you said, like, you know, not everybody is passionate about something. You know, that people say, oh, follow your passion. Like, not everybody's passionate about something. Like, so number one, don't feel like, oh, I'm not really passionate about something, and like, I guess everybody else is, so now I don't know what the heck to do. Like, literally not that many people are passionate about, you know, something from an early age. So number one, don't worry about it if you're not sort of all in for whatever, like since the age of 4. Like, most people don't have that epiphany when they're 4 years old to do something. So I would say start off, obviously, with the subjects that you like the best. Is that math? Is it science? Is it language? Is it geography? I mean, what subjects do you enjoy learning? Do you find the most stimulating? And then, to your point, give a little bit of thought to what are the different jobs you could do if you pursued additional education in that area. Like, if you were to study math, for instance, where might you end up by studying math? Maybe you'd end up working for an insurance company as an actuator, you know, so like there's an actuarial science area that's all about math, you know, so, you know, your study of math can take you down, you know, that road. Maybe it's going to take you into accounting. Maybe it's going to take you into computer programming. Like, you know, there's all kinds of different areas that you might end up with. So do a little bit of study about that. Is there a job that you think, you know, sounds interesting that you could do with, you know, after studying that subject? And then do spend a bit of time understanding what is the demand for jobs, for those jobs, like, you know, so, and make sure there is a demand, really, is the bottom line, and understand what is the pay of that job, and just like, does it match up to the lifestyle that you envision. So, and that doesn't mean it has to be like a massive amount of money. It might be just like this amount of money, but this is the lifestyle I want, and that matches. That's all. Just make sure that you can see at least one pathway or a couple pathways. If I study math, I could do this, and that. There's actually a demand for those jobs, and I'm actually kind of happy with the kind of earnings that I could have by doing those jobs. And I feel like then it kind of checks all the boxes. So I've always been against this advice of study what you love, and that's it. Like, I think I agree, like study something that you enjoy and that you like to learn, but just take those extra couple of steps to make sure you don't end up, disappointed, because there actually is, a lot of disillusioned people out there who, took that advice, study what you love, and now, are unable to find a fulfilling job, or one that is, putting them economically where they want. So just take those couple of steps, and look, you may not end up anywhere close to that. You may study math and thinking I'm going to be an actuarial, and not end up anywhere close to that. But that's okay, because there's a lot of, right and left turns in life that, your individual experience and, jobs and, teachers and whatever that, influence you into those different areas. So it doesn't matter that you don't end up in that place, as long as I've got at least one or two paths that I actually would be pretty happy with. And then go and study that, and then see where it takes you. And if it takes you to one of those places, great. And if it takes you someplace else, then that's fantastic too. It's just an extra couple steps that I always try and recommend to young people when they're thinking through where they want to go with their careers.
Your advice is phenomenal. Like, I mean, even if you think about it, if you choose what you want to do when you grow up in grade 9, that's technically 9 years away by the time you graduate high school and go into post-secondary. 9 years. I mean, you can attest to this. The industry's changed dramatically and drastically in 9 years. So how can we put the onus on a youth to make that decision as early as grade 9? Instead, teach them how to open up their options. So as they develop the skills, they have different paths they can go into.
Yeah. And try not to close doors, right? Like, my recommendation is don't drop math and science. Keep those options open, because you may find yourself in grade 11 or 12 thinking, I'd love to be an architect. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't take the math and physics that I need for that. Now you got to go back and do it. And, which is sometimes hard to do. So just don't close doors. Keep those options open. I totally agree with that advice.
Amazing. And on that note, because I promised you an hour, 12:45, you're very busy, and we're so lucky that we got you for this hour. If anyone has any questions, ask away. You can send it to us, and then we'll send it to Linda's team, and we'll definitely get you answers. In the meantime, please visit Linamar's website, the 𝗨-IT-BE-IT-STEM-IT initiative. It's amazing. And I'm sure just simply from this interview, I would follow Linda Hasenfratz's career path if you're looking at what type of leader you want to become. She's a bio that you want to read, because it's absolutely amazing and it continues to inspire me. Thank you so much for this opportunity, for you sharing all this amazing advice, and for Linamar's mission to help diversify the workforce and work with 𝗿𝗵𝙫 to help us reach our goals to get more young women to see themselves in STEM careers and in the skilled trades.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. The hour has flown past, and thank you for spending so much time talking about 𝗨-IT-BE-IT-STEM-IT, because we would indeed love to see more role models sign up to be a role model. And it's super easy. If you just go to that website you just saw there, 𝗨-IT-BE-IT-STEM-IT.com, and nominate yourself or nominate someone else. It's super easy. An email comes to us, we send out, you just have to answer a couple of questions, send us a picture, and boom, you're on the website. So please do sign up. We'd love to have more and more role models out there to inspire future generations of young women. So thank you, Linda.
On that note, I just want to thank Linamar and Linda Hasenfratz for joining me today. This episode was sponsored by WBLC. So if you're looking at going into manufacturing, WBLC has an amazing program in Toronto where they're encouraging female applicants to become CNC operators. So please visit our website because we are going to have a flyer to showcase this free program where you're going to get paid to train and to enter this field. So this, again, WBLC is encouraging more women to go into manufacturing. So I encourage you to apply. So thank you all for tuning in. And again, Linda, thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Pleasure. You too. Bye.
Bye.